Hey guys, so I have no idea what's going on with the lighting here. I'm very yellow. But this is kind of an informal video where I wanted to talk a little bit more about piercings. So I've done a video on my channel before about my tattoos and piercings because people seem to be quite interested in what tattoos and piercings I have. And I might do an in-depth video on my tattoos as well if that's something you'd like. But today I thought we'd just do an informal chat about all the piercings I currently have, all the piercings I've had, and some horror stories regarding my piercings as well. If piercings aren't your thing, then this video is probably not for you. So it's a bit informal, like I said. The camera will move about a bit because I'm just holding it in my hand and the lighting's terrible and I haven't put any makeup on, whatever, let's just roll with it. I think to date I have had 11 piercings, which is quite a lot. I only actually have technically 2 in at the minute, which are these two, but my ear lobes are still pierced as well. Oh, lighting just dramatically changed. Let's start with ears. So I have had my earlobes pierced, both earlobes, at quite a young age. I can't remember exactly how old I was, but I would say 6 or 7. I've never really had any problems with my earlobes. Then I had both seconds done. So that's, your earlobes are here and then the seconds. I've never really had a problem with one of the seconds, but the other one, there's a horror story. So I got both of my seconds pierced at the same time. Is there an official name for them? Second earlobe piercings? I got them both pierced at the same time and one was perfectly fine. The other one, the bar wasn't right, and I woke up one day and the ball of the piercing had actually gone into my ear, not inside the canal, but I mean into the skin of my ear, and it was horrendous. It was very, very painful. But I ended up having to go in my bathroom. My mum had to get ice packs and stuff, and my mum's really cringy about piercings as well, but she knew she had to help me out because my ear was like bright red and the piercing was stuck inside. So we was like ice packing my ear and trying to pull it out. And if you've had your ears pierced, you know how tiny the hole is for an earlobe piercing. And the ball was a lot bigger than it should have been. It was bigger than these, to be honest. For a first piercing on the second, it was way too big a ball for it to heal. And the gist is we was in my bathroom for about an hour and I was screaming in agony while mum was pulling this piercing out. We got it out, I took the piercing out and I was like, that's it for me, never again. My earlobes and my second earlobes are both still open, they're not closed. Your ears don't tend to close as much. And then I got my third ear pierced, third earlobe, I don't know what you call it, but let's say a third on this side, I believe. I had it in for a little while, but then I took it out and it's completely closed up now. And to be quite honest, that was a cover-up for a different piercing, which we'll talk about later. So that's why I got that done. Next up, I had my nose pierced when I was around 15, 16 years old. And it was one of the most dodgiest piercings to take out and put back in. It was awful. So for about a month my nose piercing was fine, and then something happened. My body just rejected it, didn't like it, and I started getting regular nosebleeds. The area became really inflamed and swollen, bright red, and I just had to have it taken out. My body just did not like it. Then I got this labret piercing. It's not a labret piercing, is it? It's just a lip piercing. These are called spider bites. I was going to say snake bites. So this one on the inside I got done first. I was probably 13, 14 years old and I forced my dad to come with me. Dad's come with me to quite a few of my piercings, to be fair. Even though he hates them, I still force him to come along. And I've never, ever, ever had a problem with either of my lip piercings, to be honest. I love them. They're the only piercings I probably am not, I won't say never gonna take out, but they're my favourites. They make me feel confident, so that's why they stay. So that one was done when I was about 13 or 14. This one was a lot older, I think 17, I'm gonna say. 16 or 17. I did at one point want to get spider bites this side as well, but I think 4 on my face with my face shape because my weight fluctuates a lot as well, so my face gets fatter, it gets thinner, it gets fatter. So I think having 2 more on this side would probably be a little bit overkill, so I don't think I'm going to do it. So that's it for the facial area. So let's talk about the main one, the taboo one that I don't talk about, and that is I had my nipple pierced. I have briefly mentioned it before. It's very weird to be talking about my boob. This was the cover-up piercing, so me and my friend went to the piercer together to both get our nipples done. As you do, just a casual day out with your best friend. Both my other friends ended up having both nipples pierced. I only had one. It was quite painful and I liked it and it was really nice, but pretty much straight away I was like, this isn't right, this isn't working out. But I thought I'll get on with it. I got the third ear pierced as a cover up for that because I did not want my mum and dad to know that I'd got my nipple pierced. I just didn't want to tell them. It was very swollen, very inflamed, and it hurt a lot to touch it, to clean it. It hurt so badly. So I thought, I want to change the bar and see what happens after a month, which is the stupidest thing ever because it had not healed and you should never try and change your bar before the piercing's healed. But my stupid self thought, I'll try and change the bar and we'll see if that lessens the pain. So I could not get another bar in for the life of me. It wouldn't happen. So I went back to my piercer and I said, look, something as bad as really happened here. Like it went infected. I walked in. She said, let's have a look. I showed her. She went, take it out now. Basically, the bar had rejected really badly and it was actually pushing out of my nipple. So if it would have stayed any longer, it would have pretty much split my boob in two. Yeah, it would have the bar would have just came out. So she said, take it out now, you can't have that, your body don't like it. And I had to go to the doctors and get some antibiotics. So that was fun. But that's the boob horror story. The next one is my belly button. I've had a belly bar piercing, navel piercing. I had that in for a long time. I had that when I was about 13 as well, I would say. And I had my belly bar piercing easily up until I was about 17. And it was fine and there was no problems with it. Never been any problems with it. One day I just woke up and decided I didn't want it anymore. Again, with the weight fluctuation, it's healed completely now. There are slight scars everywhere I've had a piercing and taken it out, apart from my nose actually. So there is slight scarring. But I just chose to take it out because I didn't really like the way it looked. And then we're down to the last 2 piercings, which I am going to do a disclaimer for. So up until this point, all of my piercings had been done by a professional piercer. Always go to a professional. I cannot stress this enough, please. And now, slight trigger warning, I would say. The last 2 piercings I did myself on myself. But I know in theory what I'm doing and it should have stayed in theory. I would love to learn to be a piercer. Unfortunately, I can't seem to get into that sort of career, but it's something I'm interested in the future. So stupid me, already had some pre-existing piercing needles because I just decided to buy them one day. So I did everything right, sterilised them properly, this, that and the other, but still don't do it. I'm not endorsing it at all, just don't do it. So I pierced my own wrist and I pierced my own thumb, just, I can't really show you one-handed, but right across that little bit. So a slight location change because my mum actually came home from work when I was filming this. Irony of ironies. So I was talking about my wrist piercing. Yeah, so I did everything right like I was supposed to, but like I said, I'm not a professional piercer, so I shouldn't have done it, okay? And don't do it, okay? So I pierced my wrist. It was in for about 3 days. All the while I was wearing long sleeves to try and hide it from my parents because I knew they'd go mental and I was quite young. I'm not actually going to tell you how young I was because I don't want to endorse any of this. I had it in for about 3 days. For the first couple of days it was okay. Third day I just realised it wasn't working. It just wasn't right and I knew that it would reject or get infected if I didn't do something. So I took it out, took some antibiotics and luckily I was fine. If I didn't learn my lesson enough, a couple of years after that I thought I would pierce my thumb. Now your thumb is a tiny bit of skin, tiny. So obviously it rejected. as it probably would possibly at a professional piercer as well, because it is a tiny piece of skin. So it did reject. That's my thumb story. But yeah, that's my piercing story. So will I get any piercings in the future? I don't know. I think I'm done now. Tattoos I'm not. I'm gonna get more tattoos, but piercings, I think I've learnt my lesson from the traumatic things that I did when I was younger. So I think I'm over piercings now. I'm gonna keep these, like, not forever. I'm gonna keep saying forever, not forever, but for the foreseeable future. So that's my piercing story, quite informal. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want me to do an in-depth video on my tattoos, then please let me know. I have 9 tattoos to date. Obviously I class these as 1. So please let me know if you want an in-depth tattoo video from me. And I hope you enjoyed it. So that's my piercing story. And I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.